Hello and welcome to another Modern Toy Fair Let's Pose, where I show you how I get my figures in the poses you see in the pictures at the end of my reviews. Today I'm going to be showing you how to pose the Mafex Gambit figure. As always, let me know in the comments below what figures you'd like to see me pose next. I do have a list that I am working through. And make sure to stick around the end of the video to find out where you can see some of the photos I took of Gambit. But that's enough chitter chatter. Let's go ahead and get at her. Alright, let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with just a casual pose, just like something you can do on your shelf if you want. We're going to have him just standing suave as Gambit would, with his bow staff kind of over his shoulder. Get the arm, the fist on there. So we're going to turn the head, arches back a little bit, get the shoulders back. We're going to get this arm bent all the way. Turn the head a little bit more, plant the feet, get a little spread apart. Mess around with his jacket, get it kind of posed like it's flowing in the wind, a little bit of a breeze passing by. And within a matter of seconds, if I can get the feet to cooperate, there we go. Now you've got just a great little pose here. Arms straight, legs spread apart. Right arm, as you can see, bent in as far as you can go. You do have a little bit of a tilt at the wrist to get the kind of angle there over the shoulder. You can do it however you want. I just want it to look like it's actually on his shoulder. But it's a pretty easy pose you can hit to have on your shelf. If you want to go a little further, you can also just have one where he is walking. This one's a little more complicated though, especially if you don't want to use one of the posing stands. So I might have to do a time lapse because I don't know how long it's going to take me to get him to balance. I really want to balance on his toe, but I don't know if it's going to be possible. But the idea would be to twist the waist, get the legs kind of finagled so that way they're able to balance with one foot flat and the other one on the toe joint. But a lot of times these ankles on the Mafex figures, really any of the figures, aren't quite sturdy enough to do that. Let me see if I can get him to balance here. I don't think it's going to work. Alright, let's see. So I'm going to have to go flat-footed, I think, because he does not want to go otherwise. Let me get that twisted around. It'll still be he's walking, just not quite as, not quite the way I'd want it. But here we go. Now you just have the one foot in the back planted, and as I said, you can keep fighting with it or you can get a posable stand, up to you. I do have the shoulders twisted, so the left shoulder is up front, arms swinging forward, left in the back, or right in the back. And then the legs are the opposite, so that way it looks like he's walking. And then, of course, you have that arm pulled back, the staff at an angle, and the coat is just kind of flowing in the wind behind him, like he's walking with purpose. So, another just kind of simple one. Well, not simple if you try to balance him, I guess. So let's get him in some more action-y fighting poses in case you're not into casual Gambit. So let me switch out some parts here. We'll get the angry head on here. I don't know why Gambit is the one Mafex figure where the head is the hardest one to pop on. Let's go ahead and twist him back up here. Get the knees bent. Come on. Here we go. Have one arm kind of out front. Twist the torso a bit. Get him looking forward. We're going to have that other arm back with the staff across the shoulders again. Just at a different angle this time. Get this stuff out of the way. I'm going to add a few other things here. So I'm going to pop the ignited cards into these fingers if I can get it to work. Just to kind of add to it. Make it look like he's, really ready to fight, because Gambit usually uses his playing cards more than his bow staff. But we'll get those down there. The coat floating around a little bit. I'm going to tilt this a little bit like so. But yeah, so you got the arm up front straight across. Got the legs bent and far apart to keep them balanced. And you see he also is twisted around. That leg down in the back there, the left leg is at about a little under 90 degrees. This one's a little further out though. So you can see it's just not quite all the way bent. And then, of course, you got the twists and turns in the wire of the jacket. And then the arm in the back is bent all the way in. And you can also bend this arm up forward to put the cards closer to his face, like he's getting ready to throw them if you want. Personally, I think this looks a little bit better, but it's kind of personal preference. Gambit also has these little pieces here that you can use. They're just little energized pieces that go on the end. Just some added flair to really kind of make him look like he's ready to go. And boom. This is a pose I really like to do when I have him on my shelf or even in pictures. And from there, let's do another bow staff centric one. We'll have it where he's kind of fighting with the bow staff this time, or using it to fight. I guess fighting with it would be entertaining. It'd be like fighting a broomstick. But that's not the point. So yeah, we're gonna get him kind of twisted around, bow staff in front of him this time. And we're gonna have to probably switch out the hand to make it work a little better. I don't like to use both of the gripping hands because it kind of makes it a pain to keep the hands on the wrists. So usually I'll use one of the open hands on it. We're gonna get these ankles pivoted, get the knees bent, the other one kind of straightened out a little bit. Get that ankle pivoted. Get the coat out of the way, maybe flow in the opposite direction this time just to change it up. That was one good thing about this coat is once you get in a position, you can leave it there for most of your poses. But we're going to take this hand off. We're going to put the sprawled out finger hand on here. And it'll take a second because it's a little tight because I didn't put it back on the spoke. There we go. And you'll have to finagle it because it won't stay perfect since he's obviously not gripping it. But it's enough that you can kind of kayfabe it and make it look nice. It's just enough that it looks like he's holding it in place. And we're going to spread him out a little bit more. Like so, maybe. Come on. Ankles just lock in. There we go. Just need to twist that foot around a little bit. And get the head looking up a little bit more. Come on. Man, these ankles really make me mad. Anyway, so yeah, left leg straight out. You got the right leg at a 90-degree angle, and knocked him backwards already. And his legs are kind of almost more in like a forward and back motion. You've got the shoulders again twisted forward. You've got him kind of hunched over with this one. And then that back arm is at kind of like a 90-degree angle. So the staff is going down across and then in between the thumb and the index finger on that sprawled out finger hand. Let's go. See if I can get this to straighten out a little bit better. Come on. Maybe mess with the coat a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little better. Now we're going to take all of these hands off. And we are going to close it out with a more energized card effect. Because, if you have this figure, you have the Mafex Gambit, he comes with those really big, like, throwing card effects. And those are a pain to pose, especially to the point where they included a little stand for those. I don't know where mine is, so we're going to have to do the challenge of seeing if we can get him in a pose where he's able to support it himself, which is not easy with these Mafex, like, wrist joints, because when it's too heavy, they like to kind of give out and flop around. But we're going to get him straightened out, arched back a bit, because he will have to support the entirety of it himself. Get the cape, or not cape. Why am I keep calling it a cape? The coat. Getting the coat pushed back. Get little dynamic wrinkles there in it. Get that out of the way so it doesn't look so wonky. Come on. Just bend a little bit. Oh, now it looks even dumber. Should have left it on. Anyway, there we go. Alright, get the ankles planted. Twist them just right so they're flat. Get this arm back. We're going to have that with the two fingers out, almost in like the Hardy Boys symbol pose. So we can get the little effect piece back here just to add something to it. Take this hand off. We already have this hand preloaded with the effect because I didn't want to fight with it. We're going to slowly get that on there. Make sure you're careful because these wrist pegs do break if you were too aggressive with them. I already had to replace it once. And I kept the rest of them for spare parts from the other figure when I replaced it. But yeah, so now the challenge is just to get him to balance out, which once you've got it on there, it's pretty easy. But like that, You'll see the legs have a little bit of bend, but for the most part they're straight. Just kind of happenstance. You do have to keep them pretty far apart just for, the way it looks and everything. Back is arched. Just a little bit of a twist, nothing crazy. And then back here, let me move this so you can actually see it. You have this arm pushed back and fix his collar a little bit too. There we go. I'll always mess with the coat just to make it look better. Anyway, yeah, so the other arm is pushed back with that other effect in it just to kind of give it a little extra so it's not just standing there with nothing else. But yeah, so as you can see, he can support that effect by himself. Try and do it sideways, that ain't going to happen without the stand. Not unless you somehow glue the joints or something, make him into a statue, because he's unfortunately not able to support that much weight. But that is going to be it for this week's Let's Pose. Let me know in the comments below, as always, what do you want to see me pose next? Like I said, I've got a list that has been building. It's only got a handful of things on it because I've gotten through quite a bit of it, but a lot of it is just hunting down the figures, some of them to find a deal on them because they aren't figures I'd normally buy. So I do appreciate, everyone being patient with me while I hunt them down. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair to see some of the photos that I take. Also, make sure to tune into the podcast this Friday because we do have a pretty big announcement that I'm excited for. But as promised, make sure to click on the link here on your screen. We've got 2 different videos. We've got this week's review of the Night Ops Steel Brigade and from Valaverse, and then the old review I did of this figure. If you want to see more photos of him and just a closer look at him or him with other figures. But that's going to be it for this video, so hopefully we'll see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.